Well, hello there, my single mother tribe. How are you doing? This is Hope, your fairy single godmother, and this is Hope for Single Mothers Check-In Wednesday. Hey, Thanksgiving is coming up, the holidays are coming up. Do you tend to stress over Thanksgiving or the holidays? Well, if you stay tuned, I'm going to talk to you about how to have a stress-free Thanksgiving. I know it is possible. You just take some strategy, okay? So without further ado, but before we get started, for those of you who are joining me via Hope for Single Mothers Facebook group, hello. And for those of you who are joining me, excuse me, via YouTube, Hope for Single Mothers YouTube channel, do me a favor, you know what I'm about to say, go ahead and click that subscribe button and do me another favor. If you can click the bell, that way you will be notified every time I load a new video, okay? All right, so I'm going to get right started into today's discussion. So, just take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. I guarantee, I promise you that if you incorporate some of these techniques and keys that I'm going to give you in order to, just relax and enjoy yourself. I think sometimes we get so focused on the small things that, the things that are really important just kind of completely goes over our head. So, I know when my children were smaller, Thanksgiving, for the most part, like I said, I did spend some time living close to my family. So the holiday was a little bit different from me in different stages of my single mother journey. So when my children were smaller, I pretty much, like I said, was closer to my family. So we would just have, and I was kind of married. Well, yeah. And we spent Thanksgiving time mostly over my parents' house, and I come from a huge family, so I am number 10 of 10 children. 8 of us are still living, so I come from a huge family. So I stopped counting at 35 nieces and nephews or whatever. So yeah, so you can imagine that I have a huge family. And like I said, when my children were younger, and I know for you single moms who have, babies and younger children, it could be a chore just to get them ready, just to get them clothed, let alone out the door onto, your parents' house or a relative's house. My suggestion to you is to just keep it simple, really. Pack a bag and make sure you have, I would say favorite toys, that you will have little snacks. And even though you are going over your relative's house or your parents' house or whoever, you kind of just want to make sure that you are prepared with your child's favorite things. Sometimes children can get kind of antsy, and I think sometimes that's what kind of sets us off. It's pretty much just, we're so focused on them. And when they get kind of antsy, it makes us kind of antsy, but we have to keep it together. You have to keep calm. And I think if you plan ahead and prepare, I think that would be the best way to guarantee. Now, we can't control everything, but we can control us, and we can control as much as we possibly can. And those things that are beyond our control, we just have to adjust, So basically for you moms who have little ones, I would suggest, like I said, the night before or days ahead, depending on if you're working a full-time job or whatever, you might just have to start packing ahead of time. Don't wait until the last minute. When we wait until the last minute, procrastinate to do things, it puts more pressure, and you want to alleviate that pressure. You want to alleviate that stress. So my suggestion is to plan ahead. Plan ahead and know how much time you're going to spend, where you're going to be at, have a game plan of when you plan on leaving out. Once again, as I said before, anytime you include kids in the equation, we can do our best. I don't care how much planning ahead we do. And even with teenagers and young adults still living in my home, it's still the same. No matter how much I plan ahead, no matter how much I set my mind to, we're going to leave out at this certain time, it hardly ever happens. But it still is good, especially, for this type of event that could already just kind of be stressful, in and of itself, to try to do as much as you can to plan ahead. And I think that if you feel more prepared and you have time, instead of rushing through it, which is going to cause more stress and more pressure. So the first one, like I said, is plan ahead. Know how much, when you plan to leave. For the little ones, put their clothes out, pack their clothes if you're going to be going away and staying. Bring some of their favorite toys. You don't have to pick up the whole playroom and bring it with you. Less is more, but just pick a few things, that you think would keep your little ones occupied. And that's include occupied from in the car to your destination as well, because the car ride within itself can be stressful if your little ones are bored or irritable or, just unattended. And of course, you have to keep your eyes on the road, but, bring, some things that that will keep your little ones occupied on the way there. And even while they're there, like I said, you could bring some favorite snacks. I know that little ones can be kind of picky eaters. So if you know that your child likes a specific food, if it's too much to request it from someone that may be cooking it, bring it yourself, that way, like I said, you won't be dealing with a fussy eater. You'll have what you need and your child will be much happier. And I think it'll be a better experience for you. Okay. The next thing is, like I said, once you plan ahead, once you pack, pack the diaper bag or pack the bag, and just make sure that you include, some of the favorite things that your children like that will keep them occupied and busy. You also, this is if you're going away. So I don't know, some of you may be having Thanksgiving dinner at your house, and that's, oh my goodness, that's a whole nother discussion within itself. But if you're going to someone's house, if you're, going to family or friends or whatever, you just want to make sure that you're prepared, that you plan ahead. And also that you plan on how much time you're going to be there. I think the worst thing for us and even for our children, if we stay longer somewhere, so about how much your little one can handle before they kind of just flip out or get irritable or they're ready to go. So just have in your mind as far as the time frame that you're going to be away, and just, kind of plan around that. When you know what time your little ones get kind of sleepy, their bedtime. And so if you're like going away and you're going to stay a couple of days, and that's totally different than if you're just going for a couple of hours or the day. You just, like I said, you want to make sure that your little ones are rested, because, there's nothing worse than a cranky, irritable child. So I would even suggest making sure that, they stay on top of their sleep schedule, that they're getting more, a lot of rest, and even you're getting rest as well, because if you're not rested, you're going to be short-tempered. You're going to be, quick or low on patience. And so just make sure that you're getting the proper rest leading up to that. And like I said, I know that can be kind of difficult, especially if you're working outside the home, if you just have a lot of things going on. But I just feel like the better that you are rested and prepared, the better the experience will be for yourself, for your child or children, and for everyone else. Okay, so now that I've covered the little ones, as far as the bigger kids, I think it's pretty much easy going once you kind of get to a certain age with children. But for the most part, even with the smaller children, just making sure that they're occupied. Like I said, if you're going to be traveling some ways in a car, just make sure you bring something to keep them occupied, a coloring book, a puzzle, something that's going to occupy them during their entire time, unless you're just long distance driving. A lot of, give them a device with their favorite movie. Movies are usually an hour and a half or 2 hours at the most. And, that could be a car ride right there, So, like I said, just make sure that you come prepared and that you give your children, more than enough to keep them occupied during the ride. And even while they're there, sometimes, like I said, depending on whose house you're going over, they may not have the toys, or they may not have children, or, I don't know, whatever your situation is. Everybody's family dynamics is different. But like I said, I think if you come prepared and have what you need, then I think it would be better. It'll be a better experience. Secondly, the thing I wanted to talk about, I know that, family gatherings can mean different things to different people. For those of you who, have awesome families and you get along with everyone, kudos to you. That is awesome. But I know that that's not always the case, and I can't always assume that everyone has an awesome family. I think that pretty much in every family, there's might be a little bit of dysfunction. And when I say dysfunction, I mean, everyone, you have that one crazy or off relative that everyone really never pays attention to. You kind of just, you just take whatever they say with a grain of salt, because you just know that they're crazy, basically. You love them, but you just know, that cousin Ricky just don't have it all together. So when it comes to, being around relatives, I think that there's a difference between being around toxic people and being around tolerable people. And I think that's the difference. And what I mean, as far as being around toxic people, they're exactly what it is. They're toxic. They don't have anything to say. They're always negative. Their intent and their motive behind everything is to bring you down, to make you feel horrible. They're miserable, and they want everybody else, to be miserable right along with them. And I think in those instances, in those cases where it's hurtful and it's toxic and it's venomous, that we don't have to subject ourselves around that there are times, and there's going to be moments, probably dealing with family members, that we're going to have to love just some people from afar. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when it involves, compromising or jeopardizing your peace. I don't think that you should have to do that, or even be expected to do that. So it's just totally different when I'm talking about, being around toxic people as opposed to being around, crazy cousin Ricky. Crazy cousin Ricky is just, he doesn't mean any harm. He doesn't mean any bad. Crazy cousin Ricky is just might be off, So in those instances, he's tolerable, meaning that, like I said, everybody knows he's crazy. Everybody knows he's a little bit off. So you don't really take what he says to a grain of salt. And it's not toxic. He's just being himself or herself or whoever it may be. So I think that, I don't know. Like I said, I know that this could be a touchy subject, and everyone have different things going in their family. And I can only talk from my own personal experience, because I am the youngest in the family. I am neutral in every aspect of my family. I love everybody. I get along with everybody. I don't think I've ever really had an issue with anybody in my family per se. And probably it's because I'm the baby, and everybody sees me more as their baby than they do their sister. But, I just have to keep an open mind. I think that when you accept people as they are, and when they show you who they are, that you accept it, I think that I used to get offended a little bit years ago. But when I realized that when people show you who they are, believe it and don't try to make it more than what it is. And what I mean that is that, if someone shows you their true character, then, just accept it and don't try to force them to be something that they're not. And I think that when we just allow people to be who they are and love them where they are and accept them where they are, then I think that it would just make a better relationship, and it just will cause that tension and that strife. It won't give strife and tension any room or place. I think that when we get in tension, when we get in strife, and when things become tense, it's because we're forcing something, instead of we're trying to force people to be something that they're not. We're trying to, hold something over someone's head that they may have done years ago, or, you know, it just let it go. Life is just too short to hold things that have happened years ago. And I think life is too precious to hold on to grudges and to, hold people to what they've done in their past. You just have to let some things go for the sake of your peace, for the sake, you know, of of just having relationships. And like I said, life is so short that in a blink of an eye, someone could be here today and gone tomorrow. And it's especially if it's something really petty. Because people can hold on to pettiness. I mean, people can be very, very petty. And I think that when it's something that can be easily resolved, and it's not resolved because you have two stubborn people who are just not willing to submit or to admit they're wrong, I think that's a shame, because you're missing out on so much of that person's life, and you're taking that time for granted. That, like I said, you don't have as much time as you think you have. And so I don't know why I'm on this subject, but I just think I had to say, I felt led to say this. It's just that you just have to learn, like I said, to just love people where they are. Don't expect anything more from people. And when I say more from people, like I said, once you accept someone where they are, it's not that you're condoning them. You're not, saying it's okay per se, but you're making a choice and a decision to love them where they are. And some people, they can be in a very ugly or bad place in their life. And I'm quite sure we've been there ourselves before. But yet we still wanted people to love us. We still wanted people to accept us. We still wanted people to be patient with us, and to hang in there and to be there for us. Um, and so we have to just really have the same attitude that we will want people to have towards us. I don't know about you, but I know my life has not always been perfect. I don't know about you, but I can't say that I've always been the perfect person, and it's in those times, in those moments when we're not our best, that we still expect for people to love us and to be there for us and to meet us where we are. Well, we have to be the same way when it comes to other people. We can't expect for people to accept us as we are, but yet we can't do that to them. And so I believe, like I said, when when we accept people and love them where they are, and it doesn't mean, like I said, once again, that we're condoning their negative behavior, their bad behavior, but we're just showing the love of God and allowing the love of God to work and flow through us to them. Because God loved us when we were not so pretty, and he still loves us on our bad days, our worst days. And so where would we be without God's love, his unconditional love? I don't know about you, but I don't even want to think about it, because like I said, I know in my life, up until this point, I've had some good days, I've had some bad days, I've had some ugly days, I've had some horrible days. And to just know that God has been constant, his love for me has been constant, no matter how I have changed, he's never changed. And so, I think that if we can just have that same attitude towards our loved ones, towards our family, I think that families would get along better, that all the strife and that all the hurt and the pain in families would really not exist, because people wouldn't be sweating the small stuff, that they wouldn't be so focused on things that really don't matter because of pride, because of, unforgiveness. It's like, at some point in your life, you just have to let it go. You just have to let it go. Repeat after me. It's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. You are depriving yourself of precious time, sweet memories that you could have, that you could share, and not just you, but your children, just over things that are so insignificant. And I'm not talking about serious things. There are families that genuinely have serious issues going on. And I believe those things need to be worked out and talked out. But forgiveness still needs to take place on both ends, in order for people to move forward in restoration and restoring that relationship. But I'm saying, when you know better, do better. When you know that you could be the bigger person to, to bridge that gap, to be the bigger person, to cause restoration to take place in that relationship, don't allow your ego, don't allow unforgiveness, don't allow pride to keep you from that. Be the better person, be the bigger person, because it's so worth it, so like I said, when dealing with family, you kind of have to know where you are, and I'm not saying or advocating that, it's okay to surround yourself with toxic people. We don't want to put ourselves in the line of fire where we're being, mistreated in any kind of way, because I do believe that you set the tone for how others treat you. What I'm talking about, like I said, is just indifferences, things that can be tolerated, that is not, hurtful or painful or toxic. Those type of things. And I would like to think, for the most part, if you really think about it, that's pretty much how it is with a lot of families. It's not that it's a huge, big, a big thing going on with the family. Usually, most families are divided because somebody doesn't want to submit. Someone doesn't want to give in. Someone wants to hold on to unforgiveness. Someone wants to hold on to pride. Someone wants to be right. They have to be right. They want to make a point, And I just think that life is too short for those things. That, it's like, it's not even about that. At the end of the day, at the end of our lives, we're not going to be focused on who was right or wrong. We're going to think about the times and the moments that we shared and those memories. Those are the things that are going to come to your mind. Those are the things that you're going to think about, towards the end of your life. You're not going to think about, or you shouldn't be thinking about, who was right or who was wrong, or, and so I'm just saying, don't waste precious time holding on to things that you need to let go of. Basically, that's all I'm saying. Okay. So, for, like I said, if you have little ones, you want to just make sure that you plan ahead, that you come prepared, and that, you have an idea as far as time, how much time you're going to spend away. Make sure the kids are rested. Make sure you are rested, and then, like I said, just, have, wisdom to know if, there's family members that are toxic. Those ones you may have to love afar. I would suggest loving them from afar. But then those are, family members who, are tolerable, meaning that they really don't mean any harm. They may kind of irritate you. We all have family members, probably. I don't think I have anybody in my family that really irritates me, to be honest. But anyway, you may have that relative that just irritates you. There's a difference between, like I said, irritation and being toxic. And there's people that you could just tolerate just for the sake of just spending time with them and just having those memories and those moments, as opposed to, like I said, subjecting yourself or your children around people who are hurtful, and they mean hurt, they mean to harm you. They're doing it on purpose. They're vindictive. They're manipulative. They're just so negative. And that's, like I said, we should not have to, compromise our peace, compromise our well-being, compromise our safety for the sake of being around someone. I'm not talking about that, okay? And also, I can remember a couple of years ago, I know I'm just jumping all around the place. But a couple of years ago, of course, I told y'all that I had moved further away from my family. So not every holiday do I spend with them. Actually, I kind of started a tradition with my own kids years ago, especially for Christmas. I rarely travel home for Christmas. I may every now and again. I think last year I did, but it's not always that I do that. We've made our own family traditions. But there was one year in particular that I did not go home for Thanksgiving. And, you know, that week was, I had worked that week and I didn't take off really. Um, and so I got off of work on the day before Thanksgiving and I'm, you know, wasn't feeling well. I think I had like a sinus infection or a flu or something going on that week. And I really wanted to prepare Thanksgiving dinner. My children were expecting for me to, you know, lay out a spread. And I just wasn't feeling well. And, you know, and all the years before I've cooked, I've laid out the spread. And so I was talking to a coworker of mine, and she was kind of telling me how she and her mom, you know, they really didn't cook. Their tradition would be to go to Bob Evans, sit down, and I know people go out to eat all the time, but you know, like I said, for me, it was just a family tradition to cook. Either I'll go home and be with my family, or I'll cook a meal for my children, just depending how, you know, things are. Anyway, make a long story short, so this particular year I wasn't feeling well, but I wanted Thanksgiving dinner and I was used to cooking it. And so I thought about what my coworker has said, and I said, you know what, I've been cooking for a while now, and I just want to take some time off. I just want to take you know, just I don't want to cook. I really didn't feel like cooking that year. And I was so wound up and so stressed out because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I've been cooking every Thanksgiving or, you know, going home every Thanksgiving and not to have a Thanksgiving meal on the table. You know, I wanted to give that to my children. I don't know about you, but I know that us single mothers, holidays, we tend to overcompensate for the absence of the father. We do it even subconsciously without even know that we're doing it. um, but anyway, so that particular year I did. I went to Bob Evans and then I think I went to Boston Market. And between Bob Evans and Boston Market, my children and I, we had Thanksgiving dinner. And I did not feel bad, not one bit. Yes, I did break tradition that year, but I think every now and again, we deserve to have a break. So basically, what I'm saying is that, you know, if you don't feel like cooking, don't don't feel obligated that you have to. You know, I think that as single moms, we put so much pressure on ourselves. And then when we feel like we can't do something or we don't want to do something, we do it out of obligation, not because we want to, but because we feel obligated to do so. And there's just going to be some times when you just don't feel like it, whether you're not feeling well, you're tired, or you just don't feel like cooking. And I think that it's okay to not do it. The world is not going to end. Your children are not going to, you know, go hungry or anything like that. I think it's okay, you know, if you don't feel like cooking, not to cook. So don't feel that pressure of thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to cook. I have to do this. I have to do that. And even when it comes to family, it's like, you know, I feel like if you're honest with people and kind of let them know, look, I just don't feel like it this year. Is there, you know, something else that I can do or whatever? Or if you're the one who everyone comes over to, have different family members bring a dish instead of it having to fall all on you to do that. Okay. So I just want to just free your mind and just free you up to, like, if you don't feel like cooking, it's okay not to. It's okay to, I don't know, go to Boston Market or go to Bob Evans or, you know, order from there. I ordered and I picked up the food. I brought it home and I laid out a spread as though I had cooked it. And we were okay. I know my kids complained a little bit because they're like, Mom, these are not your greens, or Mom, these, you know, but I was like, okay, you're going to be okay. You're going to survive. It's going to be okay. And it felt so good to be able to just relax. It felt so good not to be able to be, you know, to just not be in that kitchen from sun up to sundown all night long, trying to prepare food, trying to, you know, get a meal going. I mean, that's within itself, that, you know, it just can, you know, I don't know about you. Some of you may not, you know, be cookers, but I'm a cooker. Well, I used to be. I haven't really rattled a pan much lately. I'm on a sabbatical from cooking. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so Don't feel the pressure that you have to cook like a smorgasbord or a big banquet type of meal. Do what you can do, and I think what's more important is just spending time with your children, spending time with your family, and just enjoying each other's company. Yes, it's and just do the best that you can do. You can only do what you can do, but don't overdo it or don't stress yourself out because you feel like you have to impress people or overperform or whatever it is. You have to overcompensate. Just do what you can do. Like I said, I think that when it comes down to it, just the fellowship, just being around people, just enjoying their company is most important. At least I would like to think so. Okay. And then lastly, I would like to talk about overcompensating. Like I said, I think as single moms, sometimes we overcompensate for the lack of, a father. And there may be some of you who are co-parenting or may have, visitation. And I completely understand how that could be. I remember when I first got divorced and there really weren't, I mean, we did have visitation set up, but my ex-husband never, he never went by what the court had ordered. So it wasn't even, yeah. Anyway, so, but there were times when, especially when he had moved further away, and he would come into town during the holidays sometimes and would want to, pick up the children and spend some time with them or take them to his side of the family. And I kind of felt some kind of way. I did. I will admit it. And that could be a touchy subject for us when we're co-parenting or we have, certain visitation, set up or arrangement set up. And that could be kind of difficult. I have been there. I have done that. And my advice to you would be that if you could just, if the kids are going to be away for Thanksgiving with the dad, for you to find somewhere to be, find some friends or some family members that you could be around to help you kind of buffer that. Like I said, it could be very difficult when the kids are away because holidays are very special to us and they mean a lot to us. And holidays are about spending with your family, spending with your children, their loved ones, and when, the children are away, that can kind of make you feel some kind of way. And I just basically had to work through it. Was it every holiday? No, it wasn't every holiday. I had my children because I was a residential parent. So I had them all the time. And it was just every blue moon when, their dad would come and pick them up. And like I said, there was very few holidays that he would come and, spend time with them, actually get them and pick them up and spend time with them. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know. I don't, you just have to, like I said, you just have to get over your feelings, get out of your feelings and just, do what's best for the children. And I know it hurts. I know when our babies are away and especially, like I said, for those holidays, it can hurt. It can make us feel very lonely or feel like we're being slighted or, but for the sake of the children, you have to kind of put your feelings aside and get over yourself and do what's best for the children. It's only just for one day. It's only for a couple of hours. You have your child, you have your children more than probably or possibly the dad does. So, you just have to just be willing to compromise in that area, just so the children, can just have that time with their father. And if the father's not involved, of course, you don't have to worry about it. I had to go through a season of that. And then after a while, I didn't have to worry about it. I think the last time my children saw their father, oh my gosh, it's probably 2012. It's been some time. So, I like I said, I had a season when they were younger when I had to do that. But, they're older now. Most of them are grown. Well, I call them young adults. But so they haven't, I haven't had to really deal with that. I haven't had to deal with it in quite some time, but I do know what it's like to go through it. So I just want to let you know that it's going to be okay. And like I said, they're coming back to you. The babies are coming back to you, and just I think it's better when you're not alone, and when you can, if you can kind of be with your family, be with your friends to kind of help buffer, the children being away. And some of you might not care. Some of you might be like, hallelujah, the kids are gone. So like I said, some of you, it may be very sentimental, and some of you might be like, you know what, this is my time to break. This is my time to have me time, and you have no problem with the kids going away. So hey, but for those of you who may be struggling, I just wanted to let you know that it's going to be okay, and that your children love you. Don't ever feel like, their time with their father is diminishing your place and who you are in their life, and what you mean to them. Your children love you so much, and they understand, and they see what you're doing. They see that you show up every day. They see that you're there all the time. They see and they know and they feel your love, and they feel your support. And so don't ever feel like time spent away from you with the father is diminishing who you are as a mother. Stand strong in your confidence in knowing that you are a good mother. You're doing an awesome job, and that your children love you so very much. Okay? So I just wanted to encourage you with that. And I hope that, what I discussed, I hope you find it helpful. But I think those will be some good tips to kind of help you get through the holidays. To not stress about the small things. Just, keep things. I think that if we keep it simple, do what you can do. Don't worry about what you can't do. And don't try to overcompensate for what you can't do. Just whatever it is, let it be. Our kids are so resilient. I am so telling you. I look at my children, and I'm just in awe, because some things that they've gone through, I just thought they'll never be the same. It's going to impact them. But children are so resilient. And when we show them our love for them, and when we are just there for them to, love them, and children just want to know that they're loved, they're accepted. And I think that is just, that means so much to them. I think that, like I said, we're harder on ourselves when it comes to, being mothers. Because we just want the best for our children. But I'm telling you, children are so resilient. It's amazing to me what, they can go through and come out and be okay. And even so, if they may struggle a little bit, they're still going to be okay. They're still going to be okay. So I just, like I said, I just want to encourage you. I know the holidays can be kind of touchy, can kind of be, for some people. I just pray that you all will have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, that you will be able to spend time with your family, your friends. And for those of you who, may be kind of short on, you may not be able to spend time with your biological family, but surround yourself with people who, genuinely love you. They've been there and they've supported you. I think sometimes we look for things, specifically, and we overlook the things that are right there in front of us. So if you don't have a biological family, if you don't have family, this Thanksgiving, hopefully and prayerfully you do have friends, and you may have people in your life that may not be your biological family, but they've been a family to you. And so just embrace those moments. Don't focus on what you don't have, what you didn't get, what you didn't do. Just focus on what's in front of you right now. Who is in your life right now? Who has God given to you for your life? And appreciate that, because maybe, just maybe, God is giving you what you thought you needed, but you really didn't. Or maybe God is giving you what you wanted. Maybe he's giving you not what you want, but what you really need. That's what I wanted to say. Maybe he's giving you what you really need instead of what you want. And I think that a lot of times we think that we need something or we want something so bad. Um, and God really wants us, and he knows what we really need, you know? So I don't know. I don't know why I said all that. I'm trying to cover all bases here because, like I said, I know that with us there is diversity and there's a melting pot of different family dynamics and situations. So hopefully I covered, a little bit, and I touched on a little bit of, different family dynamics. And so hopefully, like I said, you can enjoy yourself this Thanksgiving, enjoy your children, enjoy your family. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't hold on to unforgiveness. Don't be petty. you know, um, Figure out and decide, who's toxic and who's tolerable. Prepare yourself, prepare your children, plan ahead. Oh my gosh, I cannot stress how much planning ahead is just going to make so big of a difference in alleviating stress and making things less stressful for you. Okay. And then, like I said, do what you can do, and what you can't do, don't worry about it. Don't make it a big deal. What's more important is that you're spending time with your family, with your children. And then, like I said, if your children are with their father, you know, it's only for a day. It's only for a couple of hours. They still love you. They see what you're doing. They know what you're doing. And just remember that, okay? So, I would like to know what your plans are for Thanksgiving. I plan to be going home and spend a couple of days with my family who I have not seen. Oh my gosh, it's been, I think, it's been a while. I know I haven't seen my parents since, I want to say June, possibly. Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing my family and spending some time with my family. So I just, wish you ladies the best, and I wish you have an awesome, wonderful Thanksgiving. Just in case you wanted to know, no, I will not. I probably will upload a video for next Wednesday. I don't know. It just kind of depends. Like I said, I'm not sure when I'm leaving. If it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll just see, okay? We'll just see how things go. How about that? Okay? So tune in Saturday. We're going to do Self-Care Saturday. We're going to have some awesome fun. And I look forward to spending self-care Saturday with you all. Like I said, comment below what your plans are for Thanksgiving, and maybe some techniques that you may use to have a stress-free Thanksgiving or holiday. What do you do to avoid being stressed out during this time of the year? Comment below, okay? And if you are still with me on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and click that bell so that you'll be notified when I upload my videos. And for my Facebook group, I will be seeing you guys in just a little bit for our group chat, okay? So we can actually continue this conversation in Hope for Single Mothers Facebook chat group, okay? So anyway, I leave you all with love, peace, and blessings. And I want you to have an awesome, awesome rest of the week. I'll catch you on Saturday for Self-Care Saturday. In the meantime, goodbye. Bye-bye.